Has Kyle Shanahan grown as a head coach? I asked because during the season I was like, yes, he's grown. This is a different Kyle. This is a super Kyle. And then the way the season ended, which was like a freaking repeat of the Super Bowl, makes me wonder, like, ooh. So I don't know. What do you think?
Interesting question.
I mean, I can lay out some facts if you want to think about it for a minute. Like,
I don't think so. I'm not a believer that he necessarily choked. That he choked in the end. I think I'd agree with what Vish said to you and on a previous cast, which was that all these mistakes by him are just heightened because of the quarterback situation. The quarterback, when you have a good quarterback, he erases a lot of the bad decisions that you make, and your bad ones are just highlighted because of that. Like you just said, McVay's not any better. He just has a quarterback that makes up for his dumb
right,
decisions. And there's plenty, like, as a coach, you're never gonna make all the right decisions. Like it's just not gonna happen. And that's the importance of players. Like players are gonna make the difference. Like sprint right option wasn't a like genius play call. What was genius was Joe Montana and Dwight Clark.
mm-hmm.
So I think no, I don't think he's really grown. But I don't know that it really makes a difference. I think you got to do what you just said. Like they got to get the quarterback right.
Right. Right. I just want to like be accurate with where Kyle Shanahan is. A lot of people are saying that he like improved. I'm trying to get the glare off my face. That he improved. I said he improved, but I want to go back and be clear. I mean, I'm not sure that he has grown. He's an excellent coordinator. His offense should really take off with Trey Lance next year. But uh, let's look at fourth downs. Okay, a head coach should have a philosophy on what they want to do on fourth downs. No, does Kyle? I don't know about that. I remember week 4, and I can't find the exact one, but he got criticized for not going for it on a fourth down against Seattle. It might have been a 4th and 2 at their own 46, but I remember why didn't you go for it on fourth down? Why are you so conservative? The next week in Arizona, what did he do? He went for it 5 times on fourth
Right.
down. 5 times. And it was almost like, okay, so the media thinks I'm going to go for it every time on fourth down. And now you can't criticize me, right? Because you told me I was too conservative. Now I'm too aggressive. You can't have it both ways, right? So he did that, and they lost. We're 1 for 5 on fourth down. They lose that game. Probably win it if they kick some field goals. Okay, cut to the NFC Championship game. What are the 2 things that Kyle's criticized most about for losing in this game? The 2 things.
In the NFC Championship, for me,
Yes.
not
getting the ball to Debo.
Not going to Debo.
And
uh,
punting on 4th and 2 on the Rams 45, right? Yes, they took the delay. They punted. I mean, look, if that's what Kyle did every time, you could respect it. Be like, well, he's conservative. He doesn't go by the math. He goes by, he's old school. Fine. But no, week 5, they went for it on 4th and 4 from the Arizona 48. He called a pass for Trey Lance. It was incomplete. And this one, 4th and 2 on the Rams 45, and you punt. So you're totally knee-jerk reactive. You have no philosophy on what you want to do on fourth down. It's based on your gut or what? I have no idea. So to me, that's an indicator of a guy who's really not, he needs Anthony Lynn. He needs Anthony Lynn to be like, go, calm down. We talked about this before the game. We talked about this all week. In this situation, we do this. Don't let the emotions of the moment get the best of you, Kyle. He needs that. So hopefully Anthony Lynn can do that for him.
The only thing that they might be going by is they might have some sort of advanced analytics sheet where it's like, if we're down by 10 and and we need to go for it on fourth down, the statistics say, more successful.
But that's exactly what I'm saying. It doesn't feel like he's following anything like that. 1 week he'll be totally conservative on fourth down. The next week it's like every single time. And you can say, well, maybe the opponent factors in. I mean,
it does seem a bit erratic, and I do think you have to establish a philosophy, especially with that fourth down stuff. Like whether if you're gonna go for it, like you got to kind of go for it every time in order for those for the statistics, the probability to play out. You have to go for it every time and use that philosophy. I think conversely, if your philosophy is to punt the ball, you should probably punt the ball every time, unless it's obvious. You're kind of in that dead zone between field goal and punt. But yeah, I largely agree with that. But I would just say, like I said, is he using some sort of advanced analytics where it's the statistics of fourth down compiled with something else like opponent or score or I don't know.
Yeah, okay, so there's that. And then I didn't really like his coaching down the stretch. I mean, go back to the Dallas game. They were controlling the Dallas game. It was like no contest. And then late, Jimmy throws that pick, and everyone's like, "Oh, Jimmy, the arsonist, he does it again. Lets the Dallas back in the game." Well, who called a pass on 2nd and 11 with the big lead and fourth? And who did that? Why did you do that? You didn't do that week 10 against the Rams when you're running the ball. What is it about you in the biggest moments that you start doing things so erratically? And that's Kyle Shanahan to me. He can have a great 4 months in a row, but you can't trust him down the stretch. I mean, there's one more thing too. Sticking with Jimmy Garoppolo when he had 2 injuries down the stretch. I mean, how smart was that? Kyle usually can kind of figure out where these games are going. You didn't know that you were going to lose to the Rams without any type of passing game, that they're on the 3rd time this year, they were going to probably figure out that they didn't need to respect Jimmy's arm and they were going to stop the run, and that you weren't going to be able to do anything to counter it. You didn't figure that out? Because he sees everything else. I don't get it.
Yeah. To me, the big thing in that game and down the stretch was not getting the ball to your best player or your.
Of course.
I mean, if you look back at the Super Bowl, the Rams decided on the goal line that they were going to win or lose the game with Cooper Kupp. Like,
true.
That's what they did, and Cooper came through.
Yep. And it wasn't just that they didn't get the ball to Debo; it's that they didn't get the ball to him or Kittle.
Kittle, right? Like, yeah. To me as a coach, like in critical moments, I'm going to live and die with my best players, and if they can't make the play, then I'm just going to be like, well, hats off to the other team. Like, I'm going to put it in my best players' hands, and whether it's hand the ball to Debo or hand the ball to Kittle, or it's got to get in one of those two guys' hands, right? Like.
So what's my final takeaway with this one, though? I mean, I'm not saying like Kyle's on the hot seat because I've been saying that a lot the last 5 years. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying he's the same coach that I've been skeptical of the last 5 years, and he has a hell of a team, and he should have 2 or 3 rings right now. He should have just won the Super Bowl a couple of days ago. They're better than the Bengals and the Rams, but I don't feel like he's grown. I still don't feel like he's what I would call a good head coach. He has wonderful qualities, and he has a terrific assistant coaching staff, and maybe the combination of him and Anthony Lynn will be what puts the Niners over the top, because they need someone who's a little bit more clear-headed and calm in these crucial moments. It hasn't been Kyle yet. I just go back and look at the fourth. You tell me that he isn't totally reactive on 4th down. What is his plan on 4th down? And until he has one, you got to wonder like how good he is as a head coach. I mean, I know he can be great, but I think maybe Anthony Lynn will be the guy who shows him.
Yeah, don't you think
game management?
Don't you think Anthony Lynn though is a growth higher? And by the means, like, it's not, although it is someone that he knows, right? But
yes,
it doesn't seem like the profile of the person that he would hire before, which would get, or he would promote before, like a young guy that wasn't going to tell him a yes man, right?
Yeah, but maybe he feels like obviously he messed up, but it's like, hey, where was Embry, right? It's like you're a golfer, and it's like, well, where were you on that one to tell me not to use the 8-iron, dude? Like, where you just agree with everything I said? I don't know, but maybe Kyle feels like I need someone who actually would say no or disagree with me, or I have no idea. I'd hope to think that, because he needs that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Anthony. I didn't cover him. I think he had some game management issues with the Chargers too, and they weren't really in big games like this.
And right.
But this is my issue with Kyle, is like just general decision making when it's pressure time, and then also like personnel moves in the offseason. Is he gonna trade up for another running back this year? Is he gonna give a lot of money to another wide receiver he doesn't need? Like, what's the next weird thing he's gonna do with personnel? Because he doesn't need to do any of that stuff. Just leave it to the guys that do it for a living. They seem to set you up with a good team. Stop asking for the next Jerick McKinnon, Tevin Coleman, Trey Sermon. You don't need it. You don't want it. I'm telling you right now, you don't want it.
Probably trade
He's
up.
He's going to do that.
Probably trade up for Christian Watkins, and all the 49ers are like, yeah, and Kyle, yeah.
No, Kyle, no. I still got my eye on you, Kyle.
Yeah.
I still got my eye on you, Kyle. It's not that you're not good. It's that you could be a little bit better. You could be a champion. And you're not going to be a champion until you fix these little things. You're going to keep getting right to the finish line and be number 2 or number 3. You got to fix these little things. Fourth down, have a plan. Tell me what it is.
I think this upcoming year will be telling. It looks like by all accounts it's going to be Trey Lance unless something crazy happens. And that should take away, now you got a guy that can open up the field for you. So you can call everything you want now. There's the Jimmy Garoppolo excuse isn't there anymore. And I'm
gonna say something though. Yeah. Lance, I like Lance, but this whole product better look a whole lot like the Rams passing game. You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't want Stafford. You let Stafford go. Stafford had an instant transformative effect on that offense. You were like, nah, we're going to go the long route, get a young guy, season him. Okay, well, now he needs to have that kind of effect on your offense. Otherwise, you played yourself. And it wasn't about who was better between Lance and Garoppolo. It was about you should have gotten Stafford. I just pointed this, it was with Vish yesterday. Every time the Niners have to make a decision between quarterbacks, the guy they choose against wins the Super Bowl. Yeah. So I'm really curious to see who they decide they don't want this year, because that's who I'm putting all my money on.
Like Aaron Rodgers says he wants to come to the Niners, and then wherever he goes. Look.
If you want to win a Super Bowl as a quarterback, try to get on the Niners' radar. Let them say no to you, and then go to the next team. You're good.
Or maybe what York could do is let Kyle and John figure out who they don't want and say no, and then fire Kyle and John, then hire somebody else, and then go get that guy.